A very good evening. Welcome to Prime TV News on Binara Full Moon Poya Day with me, Iftia Abdul Qadir. Your headlines first. All arrangements are in place for the final Perahera of the Sabaragamuwa Saman Devala. Applications for LPTA postal voting ends. Sri Lanka emphasizes at the UN Human Rights Council that it is dedicated to protecting human rights. Japan provides assistance to prevent terror acts. And on news overseas, world's first malaria vaccine is released. In your local news this evening, today is Binara Full Moon Poya Day, which marks several important incidents, including the launch of the Bhikkhuni Shasana. Many religious programs are being held in temples throughout the island to mark this religious day. The Buddha gave permission to Maha Prajapati Gautami to enter the homeless life in this doctrine and discipline on condition that she would accept the 8 great conditions. The other significance of this poya is that it falls during the Vas retreat season of bhikkhus. The bhikkhus who are in Vas retreat in temples get engaged in acts of guiding the upasakas and upasikas in Dhamma path by ways of Dhamma sermons and advising and helping them in religious rituals such as Bodhi Pujas, in gratitude to those who look after the bhikkhus in providing them with the 4 essentials in the life of a bhikkhu, namely Chivara, Pindapata, Senasana and Gilanopasthana. Meanwhile, the Savanak Ras Full Moon Poya Day program was operative live from the historic Sri Sumana Saman Mahadevala premises in Ratnapura. Pincomers including Dana, Sheela, Bhavana were held under the patronage of the Venerable Siri Sumana, the Venerable Karavita Upananda and the Venerable Muttettupula Somananda Theras. In the meantime, the Shasanaloka program organized by ITN-FM was held, also centering from the historic Sri Sumana Saman Mahadevala premises in Ratnapura. Meanwhile, the final Perahera of the Sabaragamuwa Mahasaman Devala will parade the streets tonight. Large crowds are gathering on either side of the road to view the Perahera themed Saman Maha Dev Pudavaruna. This Asala Perahera festival is being held as a pinkama for God Saman. A pinkama to distribute spectacles among the poor was held with the participation of artists of the independent television network. Many joined in receiving these spectacles. The ITN production team is geared to telecast live the Perahera proceedings from its commencement to the end. The live telecast of the Perahera will commence at 9 p.m. On to a headline-making story. Applications for postal voting with respect to the LPTA Pradeshya Sabha ended today. Voting for the LPTA Pradeshya Sabha is scheduled to be held on the 11th of next month. Officials engaged in the conduct of the polls and essential services as well as workers are given an opportunity to cast postal votes. Also, members of the police and the civil defense force on duty at the election can cast their postal vote. It was not possible to hold the polls for the Alpitia Pradesh Sabha on the scheduled date due to judicial initiatives taken following the rejection of nominations. Following the completion of the judicial process, the Supreme Court ordered for the conduct of the polls for the Alpitia Pradesh Sabha on the 11th of next month. Deputy Permanent Representative of Sri Lanka to the United Nations in Geneva, Dayani Mendis, has said that a proper recognition should be given to the achievements Sri Lanka has made in the midst of many challenges, including the Easter Sunday attacks. She was addressing the 42nd sessions of the United Nations Human Rights Council. The UN representative said Sri Lanka received the working group on enforced or involuntary disappearances in November 2015. She said Sri Lanka has received 10 UN Special Procedure Mandate holders, with one more visit scheduled for October this year. The implementation of many of the actions recommended by these mandate holders, as oriented to Sri Lanka's national priorities, has been in the forefront of Sri Lanka's path towards reconciliation, development and protection and promotion of human rights in the past few years. This could be noted from the status of implementation by Sri Lanka of a number of recommendations of the working group. Deputy Permanent Representative of Sri Lanka said the achievements just enumerated have been the outcome of measured but steady national processes that involved extensive consultations with all stakeholders, drafting of new legislation and formulation of new policies. The Sri Lankan representative said as they proceed on their path, they urge this council to accord due recognition to these gains made by Sri Lanka amidst numerous challenges, including a spate of terrorist attacks that claimed the lives of many hundreds of innocent Sri Lankans as well as foreigners on Easter Sunday this year, and that has compelled Sri Lanka to realign its immediate priorities. It is important to underscore, however, Sri Lanka's commitment to principles enabling the proliferation and protection of human rights for all its citizens, even as Sri Lanka faced numerous challenges in the post-Easter Sunday context. The Japanese government has agreed to provide 1.6 billion rupees grant under the Japanese government's non-project grant aid scheme for the provision of necessary equipment to strengthen the capacity of Sri Lanka Police Air Force, Police and Airport and Aviation Services Sri Lanka Limited on counter-terrorism activities. Public security in Sri Lanka was threatened by the Easter Sunday terrorist attacks, with a huge negative economic impact on the fast-growing tourism sector of the country. Dr. R.H.S. Samaratunga, Secretary, Ministry of Finance on behalf of the Government of Sri Lanka, and Akira Sugiyama, Japan's ambassador to Sri Lanka on behalf of the Government of Japan, signed the exchange of notes pertaining to the grant. The inking of the agreement took place at the Ministry of Finance. Accordingly, the necessary equipment for surveillance and detection will be provided by the Government of Japan to Sri Lanka Police and to the Airport and Aviation Services Sri Lanka Limited through the Ministry of Defence and the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation, respectively, to ensure public security and for the safety of air passengers. The Department of Meteorology has announced that rain will be experienced in several areas in the island after 2 p.m. today. The department forecasts showers or thunder showers at several places in the sea areas around the island. The Met Department said that prevailing showery condition over the island is expected to continue during the next few days. Showers or thunder showers will occur in eastern, Uva, north central, central and northern provinces after 2 p.m. and fairly heavy falls about 75 millimeters are likely at some places. Several spells of showers will occur in western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. The Department of Meteorology forecasts showers or thunder showers at several places in the sea areas around the island. Winds will be southwesterly and the speed will be 30 to 40 kilometers per hour in the sea areas around the island. The sea area extending from Hambantota to Pottuwil and the sea area extending from Puttalam to Kankesanture via Mannar can be rough at times as the wind speed can increase up to 50 to 55 kilometers per hour at times. You're watching Prime TV News and still on the local scene. The United People's Freedom Alliance has reappointed former parliamentarian Shanta Bandara to the national list, which has fallen vacant. This was revealed by General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, parliamentarian Mahinda Amaravira. Meanwhile, former provincial councillor Manoj Sirisena is nominated to the vacancy created due to the death of Chandrasiri Gajadira. Mahinda Amaravira said that action has been taken to appoint former parliamentarian Shanta Bandara for the vacancy created in the national list. Letters in this respect were forwarded to the Elections Commissioner yesterday. He may take oaths in Parliament next week. Suspects in the incident related to the shooting of 2 police officers in Akurasa have been taken into custody. The 6 suspects taken into custody over a shooting incident under the Terrorism Prevention Act were produced before the acting Mathura magistrate. Thereafter, they were remanded until the 25th of this month. Meanwhile, the 3 suspects who are suspected to have opened fire at the police officers are due to be produced for an identification parade. During investigations, it was revealed that shooting had been committed with a T-56 firearm robbed from the Panadura police station. 64 suspects said to have maintained links with the National Tawheed Jamaat organization after the Easter Sunday attacks have been further remanded until the 26th of this month. It is suspected that this group had received weapons training in Nuwara Elia. They are reported to be residents of Kathankudi. It was possible to apprehend these suspects following investigations launched after the unleashing of the Easter Sunday attacks. Accordingly, the suspects were produced before Batticaloa magistrate A.C. Rizwan until the 26th of this month. For more information, visit www.itnews.lk. Together with the rest of the news team, I'm Iftia, wishing you a pleasant evening and a fantastic weekend ahead. Bye-bye.